For Father's Day, I decided to take my excessive cooking projects up a notch. I made a sandwich that I'm pretty sure is going to be listed as my cause of death. If this is your first time watching one of my videos, hi, I'm Colin and welcome. Every Wednesday I post a video of an excessive, overly elaborate cooking or cocktail project. So hit that subscribe button to see what I make next. So I'm calling this the Artery Clogger because we've got smoked pulled pork, deep fried mac and cheese, homemade BBQ Mayo, homemade hot sauce, and homemade bread and butter pickles all on one sandwich. And yeah, it's freaking awesome. So all the different components and the whole sandwich itself comes from a cookbook called the BBQ Cookbook, and that was a restaurant in England that did a bunch of American style barbecue. Now I'm not going to show how to make every single component because some of them I've covered in other videos as well, but I will put recipes to everything down below. The first thing I made was some bread and butter pickles. You start by slicing some onions and cucumbers. Then you salt and layer them in a bowl to help extract all their internal water. Then I rinsed them off in cold water and got to work on making the brine. For the brine, I combined apple cider vinegar, brown sugar, turmeric, cloves, black mustard seeds, fennel, and coriander seeds in a pan and heated it all up until the sugar melted. Then I added in the cucumbers and onions to cook for a few short minutes. Then I removed them from the heat and let them cool and jarred them up. You're supposed to wait 2 or 3 weeks for these suckers to do their thing, but they're still great after only 2 days. Up next, I had to make an excessive smoked bacon rub as a topper for the homemade mac and cheese. I felt like my store-bought bacon wasn't smoky enough, so I used this little smoking gun device to cold smoke the bacon for another hour. Every time the smoke had seeped out of this makeshift contraption, I'd add a little bit more smoke. Then I sliced up the bacon and cooked it until it was excessively crispy. After that, I let the bacon sit out to dry overnight. Then I crushed it in a mortar and pestle and let it sit for another night to dry out. The next day, I combined smoked salt, soft brown sugar, pepper, smoked paprika, and ground anise seed to the bacon, and then sent all of that through the spice grinder together, and voila, I had a delicious smoked bacon rub to put on the mac and cheese. Speaking of the mac and cheese, this is the most delicious and excessive mac and cheese ever, and it was unbelievable. This recipe began fairly normal by cooking some pasta to al dente. Meanwhile, I began making a cheese sauce by heating up some milk to a boil and then letting it rest warm. Then in another pan, I cooked butter, thyme, shallots, and minced garlic until everything was looking real nice. And then I whisked in some flour to make a roux. After that came together, I added in the milk, which came together real quick, so I quickly started adding in blue cheese, Gruyere, and cheddar until everything was incorporated. In a separate bowl, I combined some cooked bacon with the macaroni, and I stirred the majority of the cheese sauce in there. Then I transferred everything to a baking pan and topped it with the rest of the cheese sauce. Some Panko Crumbs and the smoked rub were next, along with the rest of the cheddar cheese. I cooked that for about 25 minutes at 350 degrees, and out came the most delicious and gratuitous mac and cheese I've ever eaten. The flavors and the textures were just so on point.
Yes! Oh my god. That's the best thing I've ever made, hands down. This is delicious.
The next morning was Father's Day, and so I fired up the smoker to get it heated up for some pulled pork. I'm not going to cover how I made the pork exactly because you can check out my video about pulled pork sandwiches by clicking the link in the top right corner. I added some red peppers to the smoker to begin making some homemade hot sauce. I smoked those for about 2 hours, and then I removed their skins, stems, and seeds. Then I threw some habaneros on the grill to blacken them, and I combined them with the red peppers, apple cider vinegar, maple syrup, garlic cloves, and some salt. I cooked that mixture down and then threw it through a blender. Of course, while I was sitting out there smoking the pulled pork outside, I used that opportunity to make a lemonade syrup to make a shandy to enjoy with the pork later on. Then it was time for the most gratuitous thing of all, some deep fried macaroni and cheese. I pulled a chilled square of it out of the fridge, rolled it around in some flour, dipped it in an egg wash, rolled it around in some breadcrumbs, and then deep fried it at 350 degrees for about 2 minutes or until it was golden brown. And oh my God, this was awesome. Then once the pork had reached its final temp, I toasted up some buns, mixed together some homemade barbecue sauce with some mayo, and then plated everything up.
This is graphic. Oh God, that's so good. It's just disintegrating in my hands, but like, I'm happy about it. The hot sauce is perfect with the barbecue mayo, and oh man, that macaroni and cheese is almost as savory as the meat. That's super yummy.
Well, it's been a couple days since Father's Day, and I'm still alive, but barely. I think I'm still probably full from that meal. P.S. This shandy is amazing. No pre-bottled shandy is going to taste like this. Probably because there's scotch in here. Thank you so much for watching, and if there's something I missed or you want more information on how to make this, leave me a comment down below and I'd love to help you figure it out. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And by the way, hitting subscribe doesn't mean that YouTube's going to show you all my videos. You got to hit that bell so you get notified when I put a new video up. Until next time, cheers.